Have you ever wondered what will happen if you tried mixing vocals using only mastering plugins? No EQs, no channel strips, and no dissers, just tools meant for polishing full songs, now being pushed to shape raw vocals. Well, I had to try, not because I had to prove anything, but because creativity is born when we place limits on ourselves. Today, I am building a full vocal preset using only mastering plugins. Yep, a full mix, tone, clarity and depth and everything, crafted from tools never meant for this job. It actually sounds incredible. Hey guys, my name is Tesi Music, and if you're new to this channel, welcome. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't hesitate to buy me a coffee. And without wasting more time, let's get on it. And we are back. So guys, this is the project that we're working on. It's a very, very beautiful song that we're working on, and the song is called Grateful. So if you have watched our previous video on the channel, it was actually talking about mixing vocals, like fixing the tone of the vocals. And in that video, other producers or engineers noticed something. They noticed that the VST plugins that I was using in that video are actually plugins that are meant to do mastering. And yes, they are correct. Those plugins were meant for mastering, but I was trying to show something, to show another perspective of mixing vocals. So that video was leading to this video.
I had a life that I dreamed of. If a genie came around, I would wish for. I had someone I wish to see growing and making memories. Someone I wish to see happy driving and traveling. I have a son who's loving me, so sweet is a part of me, and I won't regret if he looks to me. One day he'll remember this. I have a mom who's loving me, so deep she's a half of me, and I promise you I will make you proud. Surely you'll age in peace.
So if you love the song is out now. You can check the link on the description. So this is how it sounds like. The only thing that is open on this track is just the reverbs and the delay and nothing else. So let's get into the mix. So guys, this is the mix for this song. We are going to start with the plugin called FabFilter Pro MP. Now I know what you're saying. FabFilter is also used for mixing. Yes, it's also used for mixing, but you have no idea how many mastering engineers have used FabFilter Pro MP for their mastering. I've also used it for my mastering, and it sounds so amazing. Even if you go on the preset, you will find something that is called mastering on the preset of the plugin Pro MP. So here with this plugin, I am only cutting. So it's like the first thing. Remember guys, that when we are mixing vocals in this channel, we start with the cleaning of the vocal. So here we're actually cleaning the vocal, cutting the low end, cutting the high end and the middle frequencies. But using this FabFilter Pro MP, it's like using the FabFilter Pro Q4. So if you can see this, we are cutting all over. Actually, I made this preset once and I've been using it for almost 3 years now, and it's working guys. So here we are just cutting and nothing else. This is how it sounds like with and without.
I had a life that I dreamed of. If a genie came around, I would wish for. I had someone I wish to see growing and making memories. Someone I wish to see happy driving and traveling. I have a son.
If you can listen to it well, it's actually working on those middle frequencies, lower mid frequencies. As you can see that the vocal is has too much bass here, but it's actually taming that without a noticeable change. This is how mastering works. So guys, this is the next tool that we have, Ozone Dynamic EQ. It's from version 10. I love this EQ. It's a dynamic EQ guys. Remember that we are trying to cut, to make sure that the vocal is clean. We are cleaning the vocal here. This EQ guys is always used when people are mastering, when mastering engineers are doing their master on their songs. In this vocal, I am trying to cut some of the frequencies that may have been missed by the previous plugin, which was the Pro MP. So if you can look here, we're actually cutting here. nothing is being boosted. If you can see here, we are cutting drastically on the high frequencies. As you can see that here on the high frequencies, we are cutting around -3 dB, which is a lot of cutting. And then on the mid frequencies, like the higher mid frequencies, we are cutting around -1.5. And then on the lower mid frequencies, we are cutting around -1.9. On the lower frequencies, we are just cutting that low end, that mid frequency, background noises, and so on. We are always doing this, guys. So this is like our another filter, Pro Q3 or Pro Q4, but in a different form. I love using this dynamic EQ, and this is why.
I had a life that I dreamed of. If a genie came around, I would wish for. I had someone I wish to see growing and making memories. Someone I wish to see happy driving and traveling.
Like in a feeling perspective and in a listening perspective, you can actually hear and feel the vocal becomes brighter. Yes, it becomes brighter, guys. And funny thing, we didn't boost anything here, meaning that this plugin worked mostly on the mid frequencies, because sometimes to get a clear, you must work on your mid frequencies. And now for our next plugin, we are actually using a plugin from T-Rex 5. It's a very, very beautiful plugin, this one. We are going to do something here. Going to go to the presets, and then we are going to do something like mid or mild control.
I had a life that I dreamed of. If a genie came around, I would wish for. I had someone I wish to see growing and making memories. Someone I wish to see happy driving and traveling.
So guys, I love it on the mild control. It's a very, very beautiful preset. So by the way, this is a quad comp. So this thing, I take it as my, as my resonance taming plugin, because it actually works as my soothe tool. At least that is what I think of it. Using it, we are just taming on the mid frequencies, leaving the highs and leaving the lows, just focusing on the mid frequencies. And I think it sounds good on a feeling perspective. And it's also taming those resonances, on a feeling perspective. And, it's nothing that you can actually hear on the get-go, but it's actually doing something on the mid frequencies. I love it. So guys, this one is a classic. I always use this plugin when I'm doing my mastering, and it's called T-Rex Master EQ. Mastering plugins, guys, as I said, they are different. So this is what makes mastering plugins different. Mastering plugins, guys, are built differently from mixing plugins. I think we all know that. A mastering plugin is built on a subtle perspective, and then the mixing plugin on the other side is built on a drastic perspective. Meaning that if you can boost a dB on a mastering plugin, it's something that you cannot notice, instantly. But boost like a dB on a mixing plugin, it's something that you can notice instantly, guys. So as you can see here, we have a boost to around 25K on the highs. And it might sound as something that is drastic if you are using a mixing plugin, but using a mastering plugin, that's like boosting 5 dBs or even less.
I had a life that I dreamed of. If a genie came around, I would wish for. I had someone I wish to see growing and making memories. Someone I wish to see happy driving and traveling. I have a son who's loving me. So sweet is a part of me, and I won't regret if he looks to me. One day he'll remember this. I have a mom who's loving me. So deep she's a half of me, and I promise you I will make you proud. Surely you'll age in peace. I see a star that's telling me one day you'll reach your dreams. One day you'll meet someone while driving and traveling. I see a sign.
Okay, as much as it's like taming some of that low mid frequencies, I think it actually sounds good. So let me try and boost the low end. Let's see.
I had a life that I dreamed of. If a genie came around.
I think I like how it's boosting the low end. So in this part, guys, it's like your channel strip. It's where you shape your vocal. That is why you see me doing such, tamings and boostings. So if you can listen, we boosted around 19K on the highs, and then tamed around 600 on the mid, and then boosted around 140 on the low frequencies. So this is our next plugin. Actually, this one is like your compressor plugin, but it's actually called Precision Comp or Limiter. It's actually used in mastering. It's actually used for limiting, mostly for limiting, sometimes for compression. But if you can see here, we have a preset called Pretty Serious. So it's actually a pretty serious mix. It sounds like this.
I had a life that I dreamed of. If a genie came around, I would wish for. I had someone who I wish to see growing and making memories.
It's actually working on the overall vocal. It's actually working on the loudest frequencies, on the quietest frequency, and making sure that the vocal is a bit louder. After hearing this vocal, after hearing the mix of this vocal, I loved it, but I needed to have another perspective of it, which is why I used this next plugin, which is called Gullfoss. I actually mostly use it when I'm doing beat mastering. When I'm doing a beat mastering, I use Gullfoss, and I also use it for song mastering. It takes a sound that is sounding normal and somehow makes it interesting. If you can see here on the recovery, we have 20%, recovering what we have lost, and then taming things that we may not have had, and then bias, boosting some of that, mid frequencies and so on, and then brightening, boosting the clarity, and then boosting the overall sound of the vocal. So using this thing, I was trying to make the vocal sound nice on a feeling perspective.
I had a life that I dreamed of. If a genie came around, I would wish for. I had someone who I wish to see growing and making memories. Someone who I wish to see happy driving and travel.
So it's actually doing what we told it to do, which is boosting that low end, because we needed to recover what we have lost on that low end. So it's actually boosting that low end. And on the main frequencies, it actually was taming most of the frequencies on the mid frequencies, and then brightening up. Yes, it's brightened this vocal. So on a feeling perspective, I think this vocal sounds nice. And we're done. But wait, not on this channel. There's another plugin that we needed to do. We forgot something that should make the vocal feel complete, which is the harmonics. So boosting the harmonics, we always use something called a saturation plugin. We needed to boost that high end. We needed to boost those harmonics of the vocal. So using this plugin that we are going to use, we are using Abbey Road saturation plugin. This one, it's a very, very beautiful plugin. So here we find something called Vocal Enhance. It's our last kick of this preset. It sounds like this, and you will see and feel the difference.
I had a life that I dreamed of. If a genie came around, I would wish for. I had someone who I wish to see growing and making memories. Someone who I wish to see happy driving and travel.
Immediately you hear this plugin, the vocal sounds brighter. And I bet you didn't think that we can boost this vocal to this brightness. So this is the complete chain of using mastering plugins. And there you have it. Vocals mixed entirely with mastering plugins. If this taught me anything, it's this. It's not the tool, but it's the ear behind it. When you understand your sound, you can bend on the roll and still land on something beautiful. So if you're watching this and feel limited by your gear, let this be a reminder. Your creativity is not defined by your toolbox. It's defined by your vision. If you enjoyed this challenge, consider subscribing or dropping a comment. And hey, if you want to support the channel, my preset bundles are always in the description. Until next time, stay legendary, stay creative.
I had a life that I dreamed of. If a genie came around, I would wish for. I had someone I wish to see growing and making memories. Someone I wish to see happy driving and traveling. I have a son who's loving me, so sweet is a part of me, and I won't regret if he looks to me. One day you remember this. I have a mom who's loving me, so deep she's a half of me, and I promise you I will make you proud. Surely you'll age in peace. I see a star that's telling me one day you'll reach your dreams. One day you'll meet someone while driving and traveling. I see a sign that's telling me someday when on your knees, praying and mumbling, God will show you everything.